power is much stronger. So every $1 donated to Northern Illinois Food Bank can help provide $8 worth of groceries that we can filter out to our network.
That's absolutely incredible.
It really is. So tell us a little bit about A Cup of Hope and what about this event really makes it so unique.
We are really excited for spring, so your message about the weather is not very promising, but this is a tea event happening on Sunday. It's our 11th annual A Cup of Hope event presented by Cultivate Power and hosted by our Executive Women's Council. So expect a tea party on Sunday with the full spread and auction and raffle items, a dream vacation giveaway, and then also a special message from our CEO, Julie Yorko.
I'm dreaming of a vacation. Where's your dream vacation to?
Oh, well, there was an option. So the winner gets to choose between 6 different options.
Oh, wow.
And I really have my eye on Belize.
Oh, good call.
I'm on board.
Fingers crossed.
I'm on board.
I'm sort of reading, Mark brought up the point about, the donations and how one person can donate to you guys and you take that donation and the amazing things that you can do with it. I'm reading here, is this right? For every dollar donated, it actually provides $8 worth of groceries?
That is exactly right. Every $1 provides $8 worth of groceries. And actually, at A Cup of Hope on Sunday, for every donation that is made, 2 of our Executive Women's Council members are matching that up to $25,000.
Wow.
So every donation will be doubled that day.
Love that. Where can people get tickets and come out to this event?
Visitors can go to solvehungertoday.org/cup, and you can purchase tickets throughout the rest of the week or make a donation as well.
I'd imagine, obviously this is not a need that's ever, it never goes down. Like people are always
never goes away.
Today, they're going to be hungry tomorrow, they're going to be hungry
Right.
next week. And, obviously we'd have you guys on the show every day if we could. But, but if someone maybe can't participate in this event, like I said, the need never stops. So how can people get involved and maybe help out the next event or just help out in general?
You can volunteer at our 4 distribution centers or any of our mobile feeding sites. And you're exactly right. Hunger is something that affects our neighbors year round. And it really is something that could affect anyone that's coming across a hard time. So finding opportunities to get involved, you can visit solvehungertoday.org. And you'll see our volunteer opportunities that are in Geneva, Joliet, Lake Forest, or Rockford, or any of our mobile markets as well.
You mentioned that you do 13 counties. You just mentioned Rockford, so you're going out to Winnebago County. You guys are covering most of Northern Illinois, I'm guessing.
We are. Yeah, we go Winnebago down to Kankakee, Stevenson, Ogle, DeKalb, and all the way in between. So we are all over the place throughout the 13 counties. And again, serving 570,000 plus neighbors every single month.
I mean, that is a major feat of logistics in and of itself right there.
You should see our fleet on the road. Every day, those drivers are going all over the place, making sure that we're picking up the food and resources that we need, filtering them in our distribution centers, and then getting them out as soon as we can.
Obviously we're talking a lot about how people can get involved and how they can help you guys out. If someone's listening to this and there's someone who maybe needs a little bit of help. There's someone, listen, at some point in our lives, everybody needs a little bit of help, right? So if there's someone who thinks, I could use what it is that they're doing, how can they let you guys know? How can they sort of benefit from the work you guys are doing?
Please accept the help. And again, the same website, solvehungertoday.org. You can actually go and there's a tab that says Find Food. You can type in your zip code and it will show you all of our food pantries and feeding sites that are closest to you and the hours of their operation to make sure that you can get the food that you need.
You used a really interesting expression right there. You said accept the help. What is it? Sometimes do you find people, even if they're maybe on hard times and they're in need of help, that they have a hard time sort of accepting that help?
I think so. There is a stigma sometimes where if you come across, a hard time and you don't want to accept the help that you might, if you have to make a decision between paying your rent or mortgage or a medical bill, we don't want that burden on our neighbors. And so even if it's just one time and you need a little bit of help, we want to make sure that you have the most basic need, which is food on your plate for you and your family. And so look it up and come and visit one of our feeding sites, get what you need, and get it as long as you need it.
And once again, how many feeding sites do you serve?
Over 900.
So they've got to be literally almost in every zip code,
Yeah.
every neighborhood, certainly every city, huh?
Yeah, throughout our 13 counties. So those are filtered out through our 13 counties, and there's 900 of them. So there is one near you, and if you need the help, make sure you visit our website. It's a very easy way to find the resources.
Really quick, we want people to go out to a Cup of Hope, and obviously if they can't make that, look toward other events. But specifically, can you give people the information on Cup of Hope one more time?
Yes, we would love to see you on Sunday. It is at the Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen, and you can purchase tickets or make a donation or view the auction and raffle items that will be coming soon on the website solvehungertoday.org/cup.
Love it. Tiffany King, Special Events Manager at the Northern Illinois Food Bank. We appreciate what you guys are doing. This is really, really special work. Seriously, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Man, the numbers arranging all of that have just got to be unreal.
Can't even imagine. I mean, eventually going out to 900 different locations and just the fleet of trucks, because not only are you distributing all the food, you've got to have the food intaked, and then, I mean, it's almost like a little mini Amazon operation.
Yeah, I mean, you described it well. It's the food bank for the food banks.
Right.
It's absolutely unreal. And I like that expression that she used, accept the help. Because and I think it's that lends to an important conversation involving, she mentioned sort of the stigma, removing the stigma.
Right.
Like everybody is going to need help in some form or fashion at some point in their lives.
That's what we're here for.
Exactly right. So well done to those guys. All right. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, you ask me anything you want.
That's a dangerous sentiment. When was the last time you had Malort? Today.
Yeah. What time is it? No, it's kind of funny because I'm kind of digging back through my mind because I have some friends that for whatever the deal is, it's like a badge of honor for them that you'll be out maybe having dinner or whatever, and all of a sudden this little drink arrives and then everyone's drinking, and then it's like, oh, what was that? Yeah.
Well, I think Anthony Ponce, if I'm not mistaken, he and I have had conversations about Malort. I think he drinks it just genuinely because he likes it. Yeah, it's not a bit. He doesn't drink it like ironically or anything. I think he genuinely.
Well, it's just funny because I think most people do.
I always kind of thought it was like you get people from out of town and
hey, look
pour
at
a
this
shot and you go, hey,
come here, you little knucklehead.
Yeah, exactly right. You gotta, hey, welcome to Chicago. Here's a shot of Malort.
Do a Chicago thing.
But listen to this. This is an amazing combination of words strung together. Malort Day 5K Dungeon Crawl. I'm sold.
Again, there is a television show.
I'm sold. We're going to talk with Zachary and Sean. Zachary's the operations director at CH Distillery. Sean is the Demon Tap owner. Gentlemen, thank you for taking the time. I am so invested in this. And is today Malort Day?
Today's Malort Day.
Happy Malort Day.
Malort Day.
Hey. Yeah. Happy. Oh, look, he's got his. See, I knew I was going to like it. Look at Sean's ready to go. Sean was in, and he was checked into the show before we even got started. Right. He's got his bottle ready to go.
I'm telling you.
Zachary, Sean, tell us a little bit about. First of all, let's just for the 8 people out there that maybe go, Malort, what's that? How do you guys elevator pitch Malort?
Zach, that's a you question.
Sure, yeah. It's a bitter liqueur that you drink because you want to be more drunk, I think would be the shortest way of explaining it.
The best way to explain it.
More drunk.
I honestly, I like that. Okay, so obviously today is Malort Day. What is the Malort Day 5K dungeon crawl? Because all of those words together kind of sounds awesome.
I know. Well, here's the deal. Last summer, they did Malort and the Greater Chicago Food Depository did a real 5K based around Malort. At the end, you do a shot of Malort and things like that. And I was possibly drinking Malort and got the idea of how fun would that be for people that can't run, but also people who like Dungeons and Dragons. So I designed, well, I didn't design, my friends Dennis and Morgan, they designed with me a 5K on the tabletop. And you got these little figures like this. And you roll 2 6-sided dice to move, and much like a regular 5K, you get chased by goblins and orcs.
I love this. I did not know that that's what it was, but I am so invested in this. Is this happening today?
It's happening today. The event is sold out, but we welcome people to come and cheer. We're going to make it like kind of like the Running Man movie.
Yeah.
Where you can cheer and you can, and all this money that we get off of this is going to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
Okay,
so
that is
maybe
awesome.
bet on who you think is going to win, or buy them shots of Malort, and we're going to send the proceeds to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
You know, the thing that it's like a myth, a mystique, a legend. Malort just keeps on growing. I mean, this has been around since what, before Prohibition, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It was Jeppson's Malort. The Jeppson is Carl Jeppson, who was a Swedish immigrant. And he came to Chicago, and he was making a very bitter liqueur that he would go door to door and sell. And he initially, during Prohibition, was selling it under the guise of it being stomach medicine. And he would tell the feds that no one would drink this to get drunk. It tastes too bad. It's medicine. And so he was allowed to sell it during Prohibition.
That is so cool.
Wow.
I love it. Selling booze door to door. What a concept.
Now, okay, for someone who is watching, who maybe the D&D part of this is the part that they go, okay, I don't really know much about that. Obviously, Dungeons & Dragons has been around for decades by this point. Recently back in pop culture, I don't know if you ever watched Stranger Things. It was popular, again, because of Stranger Things. I would argue that if you don't know how to play Dungeons & Dragons, or don't know the rules of Dungeons or the concept, a couple of shots of Malort will get you there real fast. You'll just kind of start understanding everything.
If you don't understand Dungeons & Dragons, you can always come to Demon Tap on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We have beginner classes for it.
And see,
Check this out. It's a sword with the Malort insignia on it.
Come on.
Look at that.
Look. Sean, I love this. I gotta say, this seems. I mean, one of the great things about something like Dungeons and Dragons is that it brings people together. A distillery or even a bar or tap brings people. The whole thing is about bringing people together, having a good time, and I love that you guys are kind of sending the elevator back down. You're paying it forward, and that's an old Jack Lemmon expression. You got when you reach the top, you send the elevator back down. That you guys are taking this money and putting it toward a great cause. As fun as this is, and we're having a great time talking about Malort and about D&D. At the end of the day, you guys are doing a really good thing, and I think that's very cool.
Thank you very much.
I've got to ask you about what it's made out of. It's made, most booze made out of corn or wheat or rye. This is made out of wormwood, right?
Well, so the alcohol is still made out of corn, but yes, it gets infused with wormwood, which is a sort of fast-growing bush that can be extremely bitter. You basically make Malort by soaking wormwood in alcohol and then filtering it out.
And where do you get good wormwood these days?
You don't have a wormwood guy?
No, I don't. No.
It grows anywhere in hardiness zone 6. So if you're a gardener, you may know where that is. Yeah. But we predominantly buy from Eastern European countries at the moment, and Romania or Poland or places like this is where we've gotten it from.
I love this. All right. Well, like you said that the event is sold out, But just kicking back and watching. Have you ever seen a Dungeons and Dragons game play out?
Not the whole, just parts.
It's interesting because at the end of the day, it's a great story. Like you're ultimately watching a story unfold, and no one knows what direction it's going to go in. It literally is a roll of the dice. And so I really do think while being able to participate, obviously you can't sit down and play because it's sold out. But I'd imagine just coming out and just watching these folks play this with a drink. Like you said, someone rolls a natural 20, buy them a shot. I'd imagine that like just watching is going to be a great time.
Watching is going to be a great time, and we're celebrating Malort Day. We've been doing that since 2020 on this day because it's the day that Malort left Florida and was started to be made here in Chicago again. So we started this tradition of Malort Day, and we got regular Malort. We also have Malort ice cream that we sell. We make a syrup out of the Malort. We have Florida Malort. We bought a case of the OG Florida Malort before Chicago had it. So you could do a taste test between Chicago and Florida.
Of course.
We have, we make a sweet Malort to cancel out the bitterness. We just pack it full of brown sugar, and we have, we make all kinds of Malort through the year. We do a kielbasa Malort for Polish Constitution Day.
Well, why wouldn't you? I'm curious, what is the difference in taste between Florida and Chicago Malort?
I'm going to be honest that since CH Distillery took it over, it's probably a little bit more quality ingredients.
Yeah.
I think they use a lot more craft.
That's what I'm talking
so it
about.
is like a cleaner tasting Malort.
Florida is the cleaner tasting.
No, Chicago.
Chicago, baby.
That's what I thought. I was like, there's no way Florida's doing it cleaner than us.
They use
Jack
swamp
probably knows
water.
the story better, how it was made in Florida for years and came back to Chicago.
Huh. Well, Florida.
Yeah, well, I've got a feeling. I have no idea what the backstory is there. I got a feeling some guy just I could be making this in Florida and going to the beach in the afternoon, and that's how it got there. That's my story I've made up in my head about how it got there.
Run with it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's give people one more round of information so that they can come out for the Malort Day 5K dungeon crawl. What do people need to know?
We open at noon, and we have all these different. There's only a limited run of the Florida Malort, so the earlier you get here, the better. I got my bartender Dan ready to go right now for when the doors open at noon. If you want to come watch the game, that starts at 1 o'clock in our back room, and it's going to be great.
Awesome. And if people can't come out today, it honestly sounds like every day there is a good time. So one more, let's make sure you guys get shout outs. So if people can't make it out today, they can come out another day and have a great time.
Demon Tap, 2849 West Belmont, located in the Avondale neighborhood of Chicago. Do the Dale, we like to say in Avondale.
Do the Dale.
If you want to play D&D, come on out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. And we have a great time here at Demon Tap, and we love our Malort.
Love it. Zach, tell us where you're at.
So we're located in Pilsen. That's where we make the Malort, and we supply the whole country out of our little distillery in Pilsen.
Love that.
Good for you guys.
All right, guys. Have the absolute best day. I hope so many people learned about this event and are heading out there because of this. This is going to be a lot of fun. And thank you for what you guys do. Like I said, I love that we're having a good time talking about D&D and Malort and everything, but at the end of the day, the money is going to the Greater Chicago Food Depository, and I think that is absolutely awesome.
A lot to be said.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. I did... I got to be honest. I didn't really grow up like a D&D guy, Dungeons and Dragons guy. But one of my best friends is into it, really into it. Like they're a part of like a campaign that's been going for a while.
Yeah.
A while.
When you say a campaign,
it's like a story.
It's like a game,
like a guy basically comes
story.
up with this story and puts them on this adventure. But every sort of thing, the obstacle they come across, you roll the dice to see how it's gonna play out.
Kind of like life.
Yeah, and so for his birthday, he that's what he wanted. He wanted all the boys to fly to Texas
and play Dungeons.
And so we did, we're almost in our 40s, and I flew to Texas because it's what he wanted for his birthday. I mean, listen, this is why I'm best man in his wedding later this year. Flew down and I thought it was like going to be like an hour.
Yeah, no, it was the whole weekend, wasn't it?
8 hours later, I was like begging their characters to kill my character.
Yes, please,
because I was
kill me.
I was starving and wanted something to eat. So I would basically be like,
your character was starving, or you were starving?
Both.
Yeah.
But so I would try to like do things to like, because you say, oh, my character does this, and then you roll the dice to see if you're successful. So I would say things like, my character tripped and fell off a mountain, and I'd roll my dice, and they'd be like, nope, you're still on the mountain.
Still alive.
I think my character's still out there somewhere. Probably still hasn't gotten his Whataburger. That's all I wanted. All right, we have a lot more really great guests coming up on this very special Saturday weekend edition of Chicago Live. We'll be right back. Yeah, man, I got like an hour. Welcome back. 1028. Obviously, one of, if not the big story of the week, right? The passing, the loss of Reverend Jesse Jackson. Did you ever get the chance to meet him in your time?
Oh,
here?
many times.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he was here quite often back in the Good Day Chicago days. We would see him about every other week. And
really?
So, actually struck up a little bit of a friendship with him.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. I never had the chance to meet him, to shake his hand. But funny enough, my grandpa did.
No kidding.
My grandpa was a union leader in Texas. And they crossed paths, and he even before I moved to Chicago, he used to tell me how good of a man he was, and he was always a big fan of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I'm a big believer that when someone passes, there's that old sentiment that like someone dies twice, right? Their physical body dies, but then they live on when people talk about them, when they tell stories about them, their legacy, when people do things in their name, and I think because of that, Reverend Jesse Jackson is going to be living on for a very long time. And a big reason why the Rainbow Push Coalition. Sure. We are joined by Reverend Bobby Lewis. Reverend, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. I am sorry for your loss. I know many of you there are still mourning the loss, but I'm sure you would agree with the sentiment that Reverend Jackson lives on by everyone carrying on his legacy and doing good work in his name.
That is the mantra, keep hope alive, and that's how we do it. His legacy is strong, alive, and well. Thank you for your sentiments of condolences, and I want you to know that we're grateful for this time that you're allowing us to share what Reverend's work. It continues in this moment, Today, we are right in the middle of our Saturday morning forum right now, but I just didn't want to, I wanted to take the time and leave there and come here to let you know that the community is here. Our sanctuary is full with pastors and community leaders and political leaders who are sharing their sentiments of the great work of the late Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. Today, we have a full program. One of the great things that we're doing from our MLK celebration, where we put together over 250 blankets for those in need, those who are in shelters, those who are in nursing homes, those who are in foster care. And we have packed those. We're praying over those today, and we will be taking them around the city for those who are in need. Also, today we had a special tribute, clergy and faith leaders tribute to Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson from 9 to 10 o'clock. And now during our Saturday morning forum broadcast, the children of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson, Yusef, Jonathan, Jesse Jr., Santita, are speaking right now at this moment, giving a wonderful salute to their father. We will continue this celebration until 12. And then this afternoon, we have a Senate panel forum. And so on Saturday has always been a time where the community comes together right here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. And then this day, it has not changed. We carry the work of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson in our heart and each and every step that we take.
Reverend, obviously there's so many different things that we can all discuss, and I definitely want to, you mentioned the blanket delivery that's happening, but I kind of wanted just to ask just sort of a human question, which is just how is everyone doing there? I know it's been a few days, but this is not something that can be easy, so I would just like to know how are you doing, and how is everyone doing there?
Everyone is emotional, as you might understand. The life and legacy of Reverend Jackson has been a part of all of us, for all of us. Reverend knew me before I was born. I grew up next door to Reverend Jesse Jackson, and grew up with the family. And there's one side of me that cries. There's another side of me that knows all the conversations that I've had with the Reverend, and knowing that he would want us to keep on and keep hope alive. And so we have those moments. We have those moments of tears. We have those moments of laughter. But I think the power of the community that Reverend has built knows that when we come together, we know that we're better together. And so we hold each other. We comfort each other. And then we pray for each other. And then we continue to work together, because we know what Reverend Jackson would want us to do at this moment. And that is to help others and be there for each other. So it is not, some moments are more difficult than others. Some you don't want to move. Others you want to stand up and just, laugh because of the relationship. And that's what's most important. All the expressions that you've seen on social media, all the expressions that you've seen on TV is because of a relationship that Reverend Jesse Jackson has had with the world, and his personal, his way of being so personal with each and every person that he met. And so we are feeling emotional, sad at sometimes, but joy that we know that he's gone to be with the Lord. He's in a better place, and he's left us with some tools to keep hope alive.
And you, sir, have certainly had a very unique position growing up next door and knowing him your whole life. You might be in a good position to document and maybe write an autobiography, or a biography, rather.
Well, I'll tell you, I am busy with the work of the organization, and as my life. So my father was a part of the Rainbow Push Coalition. There is a concert called. It was the Keep Hope Alive. It was a concert in 1971. My father's name is Ramsey Lewis. He was a piano player. And one of the most unique moments of my life was being a part of our neighborhood, and being able to celebrate with Reverend Jackson through the time that my father had experienced with them. And those times are near and dear to my heart. And so I'm not ready to write a book. The book is still writing me, if you understand what I'm saying.
I love that.
we are still doing the work here in our community.
Love that. Reverend, we have just about a minute left. Let's let people know one more time about the blanket giveaway that's happening today, but also if they can't help out, if they can't participate today, but they think, you know what, this is something I'd like to be a part of, a legacy I'd like to be a part of, how can they get involved to an even greater degree?
Absolutely. So if you want to make donations at this time, Jackson Legacy, let me make sure I get you the right email for that. The right email for that is, JacksonLegacy.com, JesseJacksonLegacy.com. And then you can always come by the Rainbow Push Coalition and join Rainbow Push. We need your help in this moment as we move out into voter registration and all the things that Reverend Jackson lived and stand for. So we want you to go to rainbowpush.org and become a member. And then come by 930 East 50th Street sometime and join this movement as we continue to keep hope alive.
Love that. Reverend Bobby Lewis, we appreciate you. We know you just had to step out just to be able to chat with us, and we appreciate you doing that for us, sir. Good luck with everything today and moving forward in the future. And again, our condolences for your loss, sir.
God bless you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Man, doing great work out there. A lot of our guests today doing really like 3 for 3. All of them doing really amazing work. So much going on today. God, this show, we are flying with this show. More coming up right here on the very special Saturday weekend edition of Chicago Live. We'll be right back. Mark Strell, have you been to a Chicago Fire game?
I have.
Dude, they're such a blast. And you know what? You ever, you're a fan of one team for a while, and you got the jerseys and stuff, and then all of a sudden you just start feeling, the team's not for me. They haven't been playing for me. They haven't been playing like it's time to change loyalties. But then you got all these jerseys for this other team.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Guess what?
What?
They got a thing that's going to help us out.
Get out of here.
We're going to talk with Emily Samanskas. Emily, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm a little chilly, but I'm excited. How are you guys?
We appreciate you doing the live shot outside for us. We're not going to keep you tied up too long because we don't want you to be cold. But you guys have a really cool event that is happening where people can trade jerseys, which I think is the coolest thing in the world. Can you tell people a little bit about the event that's going on?
Yeah, so we outfitted a mobile locker room, a glass kit cab that we're calling it, and fans can bring non-fire professional soccer jerseys and exchange it for our new Forever Red kit that just launched in partnership with Carvana.
What is in the Forever Red kit?
Yes, so it is our updated home jersey, and it is a modern take on a timeless classic. So we've been wearing red at home at Soldier Field for a couple years now, and so this jersey is reimagined with a collar and some sleeve details, and our classic red branding.
It's perfect timing for this because the season kicks off this weekend, isn't that right?
That is correct, yes. Our team is currently in Houston. They kick off against the Houston Dynamo at 7:30 tonight, and then we return to Soldier Field next Saturday at 1:30.
Now,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, Emily, this might be kind of ironic. I'm originally from Houston and had a Dynamo jersey or two.
Really?
So would I be allowed to maybe trade in my change loyalties, trade in my Dynamo jersey,
You would.
and walk out of there with that really cool fire?
You would, absolutely. So we're currently at Wicker Park, we're at Harrison Park. We're going to head to Wicker Park later this afternoon around noon, and then we're going to head to Lincoln Park at 3. So I'm sure you can see some people who are very excited behind me to exchange their kits. And if you happen to meet us at Wicker Park, we would be happy to exchange your kit for you.
Love that.
Very excited. The season's kicking off. Tell me how many games you have and how long the season lasts.
Yes, we have 34 games in a season. We're going to take a break for the World Cup between June and July, and we'll resume play July 16th against Vancouver. And our season ends in the mid part of November, and we're really excited. We think that Greg Berhalter, our head coach, is going to take our team through playoffs. So we'll be playing hopefully into later November and early December.
Wow, it's a large portion of the year that your season goes, particularly if you go through the playoffs.
Yes, we're very excited about it. We're particularly excited because, like I mentioned, we're going to take about a 6-week break for World Cup. The Fire are actually going to be activating at recess in the West Loop. We're going to be showing every single World Cup match. We're going to have a lot of fun programming and really hoping to bring people who are excited to exchange their kits, like today, out to that location to celebrate the beautiful game that we all love.
Emily, Mark and I were saying we've been out to games before, and it is honestly so much fun. But for someone who's watching, it's thinking, I've never really seen a soccer game before. I've never seen the Chicago Fire play before. I mean, what is your elevator pitch to friends and family that have never been out? Because it really is an absolute blast, honestly, to bring the whole family out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really consider ourselves more than a team. We consider ourselves a club. So from start to finish, whether people play in our rec league programming or we have a second team and an academy program, so that really helps foster just this incredible sense of community that shows up every match day. We also have incredible supporters. Our supporter section is phenomenal. It really creates just a vibrant match day experience for people. And we have a really affordable price point, fantastic food and beverage, retail experience. I'm biased, but our match day team is one of the best. So coming out to a Fire match makes it really feel like you're part of the family. And like I said, you're not just cheering on our team, you're cheering on the club, you're cheering on the entire organization and everything that we're doing within the city.
That's what I love, is that it is affordable. You can take the whole family out there without, going to the bank and having to get a loan. And I talk a little bit about the difference between, you mentioned a club versus a team. I kind of sense where you're going there. You have programs that involve the youth and kind of on up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a ton of rec soccer and youth soccer programming that happens at a couple of our different locations. And then, like I mentioned, our academy teams, they start at about 13 years old and they play until they could potentially play in our second team. And then those develop into first team players. Our owner is really dedicated to making sure that this club is Chicago's club. So we have on our first team individuals called homegrown players. And those are players that have started in our academy program and have played in our Chicagoland community and have eventually made the first team. So that's a little bit of insight into how we're a club and not just a first team.
Emily, I have a big question for you. What do you do with all of the jerseys that people trade in?
Yes, so we're partnering with an organization that our Chicago Fire Foundation also works with, and we are going to make sure that those jerseys are donated and given to those who might not have the ability to support their international or their local soccer club.
I love that. But is there any chance that you would kind of keep track of which team's jerseys were traded and just let the teams know, just so you know, you've got 8 less fans now, and because there are 8 more Fire fans out there. Is there a way to let the other teams know while also doing a great thing with the jerseys?
Yeah, maybe. I work on our social media team as well, so maybe that'll be something that you can see on our social media channels later. We'll give an update of who's turned in their jerseys and who's losing some fans today. I will, for sure.
Tag us in there because I want to see the interactions. Yes. All right, Emily, one more time, let people know where they can come out and see you guys, and also maybe the info, because I know you guys are popping around to a couple of different places today. Is there an online resource where people can see a schedule and just kind of know where you're going to be at throughout the day?
Yes, absolutely. If you go to our website, you can sign up for text alerts for KitCab. You can also follow along on Chicago Fire's Instagram stories and Twitter. We are going to head to Wicker Park this afternoon and Lincoln Park a little bit later.
Love it. Okay, Emily Szymanskis, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck with everything today. Have an amazing season, and go inside and get warm, because we know you've been standing outside for us all day. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much.
I didn't realize how long the season
I
goes.
mean, that shows you what kind of horses those players really are to make it through the season, just to make it through a game.
Yeah. Oh, did you know I played soccer in high school?
I knew that.
I did. Yeah. And my coach said that no one covered the bench like I did. He said I was the best.
I saw that one coming.
The best. All right, we'll be right back. Chicago Live rolls on.
Not true. Who's a star?
Oh, that's definitely not true. So, Mark Stroh, we were talking, obviously, it was a big news week. Obviously, the passing of Reverend Jackson. There was the this trying to figure out what move the Bears are going to make. Are they going to end up in Indiana? Are they going to stay here? Are they going to go to Arlington Heights, or whatever the case may be? And then the big story that broke yesterday was the Supreme Court ruling that President Trump's tariffs were illegal.
Right.
And there's so many different questions that then arise from that. And rather than us sit here and try to hash it out, we're going to bring in someone who knows, I'd imagine, far better than us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Professor Philip Braun with Northwestern. Professor, thank you for taking the time this morning. We truly do appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Obviously, the big story coming out of this, the Supreme Court deems that the tariffs were illegal. The White House doubling down and saying no, that they were legal. And they're kind of insinuating that the president is still going to try to find a way to potentially impose these tariffs, whatever the Supreme Court says or not. Is there a way for him to get around the Supreme Court and still move forward with these tariffs?
He can still go forward with different types of tariffs, and it's a matter of how does he rationalize the tariffs. So there are other legal arguments you can use to impose particular types of tariffs under different types of conditions. So what he's proposing is to institute a 50% across the board tariff for everyone around the world. And he can do that under the current legal situation, but with different legal arguments for only 150 days and a maximum of 15%, which is what he announced this morning he's going to do. After 150 days, then these tariffs will expire unless Congress renews them.
So we think of free trade as being very good. We think of economies blooming under free trade. However, the point's been made by many in the past several years that other countries have been getting a free ride, that they've been able to put goods into our economy and then charge us for higher tariffs when we sell them, that the playing field has been unequal. What do you say about that?
Well, in different countries, it has been unequal, varying across different countries around the world. But we can take China as an example. The tariff situation, the trade situation overall has been very unfair to the U.S., and it hasn't been managed very well here at home in terms of job displacement and things like that. However, how does one want to address this? It's not necessarily across the board tariffs all over the world. You want it to be more country specific, and there are laws that will permit the president to put country specific tariffs in place, which under different reasons, like for China, just different legal arguments. And my guess is he'll pursue that for some countries. But broadly, tariffs are a negative for an economy because they increase prices for U.S. consumers and U.S. businesses, and which slows growth, which is what we saw at the end of last year. It slows the labor markets have slowed up, so things are becoming sluggish in the U.S. economy, partly because of these tariffs.
Professor, we have just about a minute left. For a business owner out there who is now looking at this news and going, wait a minute, I paid a lot of money for these tariffs that have now been deemed illegal. Is there a way for the money to come back? Is there like a refund in this situation? How does this work exactly?
Everyone's businesses and consumers are hoping there's a refund, but it's highly unlikely that the Trump administration is going to pursue that avenue without somebody taking them to court. So my guesstimate is it'll be a long road until anybody sees a refund.
Excellent. Well, it's a complicated issue, but Professor, we appreciate you breaking it down for us in a way that we can understand. Professor Philip Braun, Northwestern. I'm sure we'll be back in touch because I'm sure many more questions will be arising from this situation as we progress forward. Thank you for taking the time, sir.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Mark Strell, do you remember in years back, and I don't know if they're still here, but Farmer Wants a Wife is one of the biggest shows that we have on Fox. And it's probably the show next to anything involving Gordon Ramsay. But Farmer Wants a Wife is probably the show I get asked about most.
Is that right?
Yes. Oh. Mostly, how can I get in touch with the farmers? To which I go, I don't know. I don't have. I don't have a farmer guy. I don't know. So we're very excited about this because it's back for a fourth season. There's a new group of the farmers who are hoping to find their happily ever after. This is interesting. This is this series. It's an international series, and it's already resulted. I think this is so cool. It's already resulted internationally 250 marriages and 500 children.
500 kids.
500
wow.
kids. All right. It's connecting 4 good-looking ranchers with a group of marriage-ready single women, and we are joined by one of them. Braden Pridemore is a contestant on season 4. Braden, there it is. Turn your camera on so people can see that. See the dramatic reveal?
Yeah, I like that.
He turns the camera on, and then everyone watching the show goes, I get it. Yep, I like it. Hey, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Of course. Okay, I got to ask, how did you end up getting involved with the show?
It's a crazy thing. Honestly, not in a million years did I think I'd be doing something like this, and I can't believe we're, talking about it. They reached out to me on Instagram, funny enough, just sent me a message, and at first I read it, and I was like, this is fake. Showed a couple of my buddies, thought it was kind of funny, and then it ended up getting pretty real, and here we are. So
now, is this true? You're a local guy? You're from Homer, is that right?
I am. Yep.
Okay, and what's so funny is that whenever the show initially came out, I kind of thought, are these like legit farmers?
Yeah,
Are they farmers in quote? Is this the first time they've ever put on a pair of boots in their life? But no, this is no joke. You are a 5th generation corn and soybean farmer. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's got to be like, it's the legitimacy of it is real.
Yeah. Tell me, Homer, what county are you in Homer?
I'm in Vermilion County, so I'm actually just one road over from the Champaign-Vermilion County line.
Gotcha. You're central
almost
Illinois.
Champaign County.
Yeah,
I grew up in Champaign County.
I'm telling you, that's awesome.
How do you prepare for something like this? Because it's obviously this situation you're going to be thrown into. It's not. There's no like playbook for this. There's no life lesson on how to be thrown into this sort of this sort of situation. And then not only is it an unusual situation, you've got 50 cameras watching every move you make.
Poking at you from every direction.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's really no way to prepare for it, and that's a great question because I still don't have an answer for it. I kind of went into it. I was like, I'm just gonna be myself. That's all I can do.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said so many times going through the process, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know how to date that many women at the same time.
Well,
but it was a crazy experience, and I'm glad I did it. But yeah, it was crazy.
So when you see all these beautiful women walk in at one time, do you kind of start going A, B, C, D? I mean, are you picking out 2 or 3 that you're liking?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that catch your eye pretty quick, but I mean, all of them. I mean, it's crazy. It's very overwhelming, and you kind of walk in there and you're like, whoa. And that was the first like real moment that happened where you're like, okay, this is real. Like, we're actually doing this. So, but yeah, it is nerve-wracking as it sounds. It's exactly how it sounds.
All right, Braden Pridemore, it is season 4 of Farmer Wants a Wife. It's going to premiere right here on Fox Tuesday, April 21st. Braden, I have a feeling we're going to be trying to reach out to get you actually in studio, and based on the reaction of some of the ladies in the newsroom when they saw your photo and that you're going to be part of the show, I urge you to stay as far away from this studio as you can. There's no better advice I can give you. Hey, man, we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Good to see you. There used to be these like cardboard cutout. I remember because our amazing promotions team, and Fox, they sent us all kind of great stuff to promote the show. And I remember it might have been for the first season they sent out like cardboard cutouts, and they would. I used to get them and like put them around corners so that when someone would turn a corner, they would run right into them. Or like I remember one time like one of our bosses. Like, I turned all the lights off in their office and I put it behind their desk.
Now I know.
You got to go.
Now I know.
Thank you for joining us, the Saturday edition of Chicago Live. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
The NFL Scouting Combine is a week away. Cap casualties on the Dolphins could be in play for the division, and the Max Crosby sweepstakes continue. Hello, everyone, and welcome into First and North. I'm Cassie Carlson. Joining me this week, we have the voice of the Lions, Dan Miller. We have Tim Van Voren from Fox Milwaukee and Pierre Nugent from Fox Minneapolis. We'll be getting you up to speed on all things going on in the NFC North. I want to start with the NFL ranking all 32 teams' rookie draft classes from last year now that the season's over. And here's how the NFC North fared. The Bears lead the list. They are ranked first overall with an A, and one of only two teams alongside the Browns to receive a solid A. Detroit ranks 16th with a B, Vikings 28th with a C, and rounding out the list, the Packers ranked last with a D+. Tim, your reaction to how the Packers rookie class was viewed?
Cassie, if they were grading at the moment, draft excitement at the moment, the Packers would have been A+. Remember, it was in Green Bay. Matthew Golden was there. Everybody was all excited. First wide receiver, first round in decades, and it just never really panned out. Golden wasn't a flop. He just didn't produce a whole lot. Second round pick, Anthony Belton, I think is getting undervalued a little bit. I like him as a contributor, but from then on down, guys just didn't play a whole lot. So when you're a draft and develop team, the Packers always stress the big gain is from year 1 to year 2. So they'll probably accept this grade with the hopes of being much higher after year 2.
Pierre, I'm sure you're not surprised, based off of the track record of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, who was fired, that the Vikings didn't fare too well on this list either.
No, they really didn't. And at the same time, too, I think a lot of people need to remember that the Vikings didn't have a lot of draft capital in last year's draft after trades happening in the previous draft trying to get up and get J.J. McCarthy. So they were a little depleted in terms of draft capital. But they did have Donovan Jackson, who was their first-round pick at guard. I think he's had a pretty nice rookie season. Did miss a few games with some injury, but at the same time, too, it doesn't really surprise me, that this was a D grade for the Minnesota Vikings. However, I tend to reserve judgment for draft classes till we're about 3 years out. I think you need to give draft classes about 3 years to give them a fair evaluation. I know everybody is an instant gratification type of society, but I think everybody needs to give some of these young players a little bit of time to season before really grading them and judging them on their play. I'd give it about 2-3 seasons.
All right, Dan, you okay with a B? That's passing.
Yeah, I think that's about where the Lions are right now, and I think it's got the potential to certainly, as Pierre said, when you should really be looking at this, be regarded as a much better draft class. I think they really like the way Tyleik Williams came out at the end of the year. I think they're looking at him as one of the major guys that they'll have in the middle of that defensive line. Tate Ratledge is going to be a starter for a long time on the offensive line. Miles Frazier is going to have a chance to compete for a job this year, something he didn't really get to do last year because he wasn't active until the middle of the season because of an injury. He might end up at guard. He might end up at tackle. That's still up in the air a little bit. And then a couple of guys who really didn't get much in the way of playing time. Lovett, I think, has a chance to be a return guy and kind of a gadget player for them this year. He'll have to win the job. And then Hassanin, that's a project. We'll see how that comes along. And for the Lions, I think looking at it, Isaac Tesla is another guy that came on big time at the end of last year. I think they're looking at him as having a much bigger role this coming season. So I think whatever you want to say, B is fine, but I think the potential is there to where you can see a number of these guys being very significant contributors to this team.
Pierre, I know you said you talked about instant gratification. I feel like that's what we had here in Chicago with the Bears draft class and the first under Ben Johnson. And you can point to Colston Loveland, who people were like, did they take the right tight end or should they have taken Tyler Warren 10th overall? And then just seeing the way he played the second half of the season, leading all rookies receivers in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. And it was him paired with Luther Burden, who was an early second-round pick, that really came on too. And I think it was the way Ben Johnson talked about his rookies that he trusted all of them by the end of the season. Kyle Monungai, a 7th-round pick, one of the last running backs taken in the draft. We knew that was a huge need for the Bears, and to see the way he came on later in the season to be a compliment to DeAndre Swift and lead the 3rd-ranked rushing offense in the league was part of the reason why not only do we have excitement about the years to come with this draft class, but also Ben Johnson and the influence that he'll have and who the Bears bring in when they talk about personnel. All right, ESPN's Bill Barnwell mocked up a bunch of possible trades and what they could look like. And Pierre, going back to you, knowing J.J. McCarthy had a hard time staying healthy and when he was, struggled while he was on the field, the Vikings could be on the lookout for a quarterback to bring some competition to the room. So he proposed the Vikings dipping back into Kyle Shanahan's backup, trading for Mac Jones and a 2027 3rd-round pick for a 26th second-rounder, conditional 27th 5th-rounder, and conditional 28th 3rd-rounder. Do you like it?
To be perfectly honest, I think it's a little too rich for my blood. However, I do think Mac Jones would be an interesting fit here in Minnesota. But the reason why I say I think it's a little too rich for my blood is because he's going to be on the last year of his contract. Now, if he is coming into Minnesota and he plays very, very well, now you're left with the decision between J.J. McCarthy and Mac Jones.